This week we learned some news about the GPD G1. Those news are no good news and they moved me from I will buy this at an instant to okay, I need to think about this once more. I'll tell you why, stay with me. Droids.net released an article which contains two new information. The first one is the peripherals and the second one is the price. Let's start with the ports. This is the front and this is the back. At the front you can see the power switch and the two input connectors, which are the USB-C port and the Oculink port. At the back we have 3 video out ports, a few USB ports and an SD card slot. One of the reasons why I like this Cellrow USB dock, which I have reviewed in another video so much, is that the port placement is so well designed. The input ports and the video out ports are on the back and the SD card slot and some USB ports are on the front. So all my cables leave the dock in one direction and only the ports which I use occasionally are exposed at the front. In this picture you can see that the port placement matters and that all the cables are well hidden below the screen. This will not be possible with the GPD G1. Talking about the ports reveals the second bad design choice, and that is having all the USB ports and the SD card slot at the back of the device. Don't get me wrong, it's important to have at least one or better 2 USB ports at the backside of a docking station, so I can permanently attach a mouse and a keyboard and the cables are nicely hidden. But of course I want at least my SD card slot and 1 or 2 USB ports at least at the front of the device, so I can easily reach those and plug in my removable devices. Having all USB ports and the SD card slot located at the back of the device almost feels like GPD tries to prank me. Like, hey, we give you additional USB ports and an additional SD card slot. Haha, you can't reach it, we placed it at the back of the device. Like, seriously? Did they ever think of how people might use this dock? Like that a dock has a front side and a rear side, and each of those sides has its purpose, like exposing ports and hiding cables away from the user. I think they just randomly placed those ports at the back, and once they run out of space they put some at the front. And let's not forget that there is no Ethernet port and no headphone jack. I use both of those ports on my Cellrow dock and I'm very glad that they exist. Another thing which I'm not sure about is the power button. We have no information about this, but to me it looks like one of those buttons which you press once to turn on the device and press a second time to turn it off. For me, that would be a disadvantage as I like to hook all my devices on some of those multi-power plugs where each plug has its own switch. So I have one central point where I can turn on and off the devices I need. I would prefer it if the dock had a permanent power switch so I can turn it on permanently and control its power state via my multi-plug. This is pure speculation and just my personal opinion. The last major disappointment is the price. According to that Droids.net article, they will sell this for $700 without tax, which is way too much in my opinion. For people who want to target 1080p, 60 FPS gaming, for this generation and last generation games, there is the NVIDIA Pocket AI, which is significantly smaller and significantly cheaper, priced at $400. The other major competitor is the One dock, which also features USB-C and Oculink support. The one dock is just an adapter which is priced at about $250, maybe even less. If you buy the one dock and a used 3060 Ti or 3070, you will get about the same performance as the GPD G1, but at a cheaper price than what DroidsNet plans to sell the G1 for. In addition, you get the modular design, which allows you to combine pretty much any discrete graphics with the one dock. You can upgrade the one dock whenever you want. It's quite simple and you don't have to buy the dock each time, so it's probably even cheaper than to stick with GPD's line for potential future upgrades. Okay, let's stop with the negatives here. If you have watched the whole video until now, you might probably think that I hate the G1 and that I never would want to buy one. That's not the case. I still think that the G1 is a great product. That video is a short-term reaction out of disappointment after I have read that super high price on the Droids article. The price, however, might not be a big problem at all if we wait for the official IndieGoGo campaign. GPD might sell it much cheaper there. If we look at the competition, the G1 is still pretty attractive. We don't know yet if the Pocket AI will be viable for gaming at all. It might turn out that its gaming capabilities are not better or maybe even worse than those of your iGPU. Even if it can be used for gaming, the performance improvement you get out of the Pocket AI is much smaller than what you get out of the G1. The one dock provides a maybe cheaper setup for the same performance and the modularity, which allows for easy and cheaper upgrades. However, the nice integrated design of the G1 and the much better portability speaks for the G1. I would much rather have the G1 on my desk than the one dock with a discrete graphics mounted on top of it. Also, I do not want to deal with buying and selling and frequently upgrading my setup. All I want is a buy once setup which allows me to play 60 FPS 1080p for the next couple of years, which I buy once and place on my desk and can forget about it. Sure, the one dock can provide the same buy once and forget experience. However, I prefer having everything in a nice and sleek case. So for me, the major reason to consider a one dock over the G1 is if the one dock will provide about the same performance as the G1, but for about $200 less. Still, the G1 is the more attractive option to me. I want this to be successful, but GPD needs to get the pricing right. For this to be successful, in my opinion, GPD should not price the G1 higher than what an eGPU enclosure and a discrete graphics combined will cost. Sure, it's okay to pay a little bit premium for the nice and sleek design. However, the design doesn't improve my gaming experience and I do not want to pay $200 more for the exact same performance. I hope watching this video was not too painful and I promise I really want to like the G1. Subscribe if you agree or disagree with me, so you can agree or disagree even more in the future. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye!